Overall, I like the build of the oscillating tool. Feels good in your hand. It's not overly long. It doesn't feel like a polisher, for example. It's typically like that. The heft is nice with the battery, but not too heavy. I'm not crazy about this attachment mechanism. While you can get used to it, it's a little bit fussy sometimes to get the blade on and off. And as you can just see, it's very easy to hit the trigger while you're doing this as well. So I found the best thing to do is actually pop the battery off, but I just brace it against your leg like this, and then use 2 or 3 fingers on the lever. And when you get it sufficiently loose, the blade pops out. Check it visually to make sure the blade is set, because it's easy to not set it fully. That's good. I have no play in this. Some people have reported some play in this arbor. I have no play whatsoever. It's nice and tight. These are not to actuate the trigger. These are actually just simply to lock it, and the action is the same from both sides. Same thing on this side. So ambidextrous, you can lock it from either side, and for once on a cordless tool, you don't have to have a button to push the trigger, which you wouldn't typically on a cordless tool, or a cord-ed tool anyway. So all good so far. This is a little bit dicey. It's very hard to actuate, but it also feels very secure. So not a big deal, but something to be aware of if you have limited hand strength. This is a very simple setup to show what it would be like cutting through perhaps a piece of solid trim. These 2 pieces of pine are just support blocks, and this is a piece of poplar that I just used in another project inside the house. So let's see what this can do. I'm starting off at slowest speed. By the way, I should point out how the speed trigger on this works. If you listen carefully, when I pull the trigger, start slowly, press a little bit more, faster, a little bit more, faster, a little bit more, faster, all the way. That is a stepped progression. It is not a smooth speed progression throughout the range of the trigger. Is that good? Is that bad? I'd probably prefer it not to be stepped, but given that I usually just select the speed I want and then crank it down anyway, maybe not a big deal. It is nice to have it slow to start. No problems zipping right through that. So one review called the cutting action of this more of a vibration. I have to disagree. That was superb, and it was fast. So all in all, excellent tool. Another keeper. I have to say, overall first impressions of the DEWALT palm sander are not 100% positive. The battery is significantly heavier than the tool, of course, and it's a small tool, so it's significantly weighted toward the battery. So in order to be careful with this, to avoid digging at the battery side, you're going to have to kind of hold this carefully. I don't have the proper sandpaper for this, so I'm not going to be doing this with the test of the vacuum for now, but thought it would be interesting to see what it would do on the markings on a piece of white oak here. So turn it on about mid-speed, see what we get. Confident sanding, I'll say that. No problem whatsoever. A little bit jumpy, but not excessively so. Definitely usable, but as I said, I'd use it carefully to make sure you don't dig. On the other hand, the lightness could actually be handy when you're tilting the sander to perhaps touch up something a little bit more delicately. So overall, not quite as negative as I thought it might be. But that is something to be aware of. So on very soft wood or more delicate work, this probably wouldn't be the first choice.
Pues el pedido llegó bien, pero así que la batería funciona bien con la multiherramienta. No puedo con las demás. Así que la batería funciona, pero con la lijadora me llegó con un pequeño detalle. Enciendo y se apaga. Apago, la prendo y se apaga. Entonces esta llegó mal. Voy a ver si puede entrar en garantía y si no, pues a ver qué procede.